Welcome to the Linda Cohn Show. So glad you're there. I am Linda Cohn. Big news. My former employer, ESPN, made a big announcement in the last couple of days. Pat McAfee is joining Monday Night Countdown. Of course he is. And before I get into what I think about that, let me give him credit for something he absolutely deserves credit for. Look at what this guy has built. It's simply amazing. He bet on himself. He created his own show. He developed his own style. He developed his own brand and a huge following, a younger following that ESPN has been so desperate for. They want the kids to watch the worldwide leader in sports, and Pat McAfee brings it. But I admire it all, but admiring what Pat McAfee has accomplished doesn't mean I believe he needs to be everywhere at every time. Because, yeah, ESPN wants Pat McAfee to be everywhere at every time. How much Pat McAfee is enough Pat McAfee? The answer apparently was more, according to ESPN. Now, there are reports, get this. So it's not only the Monday Night Countdown. There are reports of an alternate Monday Night Football broadcast in the works involving, guess who? Pat McAfee. So let's review your potential Monday during the NFL season, which is just a couple of weeks away. 3 hours of Pat's daily show, the Pat McAfee Show from the game site. Then Pat joins Monday Night Countdown before the game. And then on certain nights, potentially his own alternative broadcast of Monday Night Football. At this point, let's just call it Monday Night McAfee. Has a nice ring to it. But wait a minute. ESPN already has Peyton and Eli Manning and the Manning cast. I love Peyton and Eli. I love the Manning cast. Nobody panic. The reported plan, according to ESPN, is not to compete against them. That's right. This alternate broadcast with McAfee would air on the Mondays when the Mannings are not on the air. Okay, let me get this straight. I have to ask this. Why? Why? I have to laugh. Apparently, if Peyton and Eli take the night off, we cannot be left alone with the actual football game broadcast. What's wrong with Buck and Aikman alone? Can't we just watch them? The actual football game? I can't stop laughing. It's crazy, right? But naturally, we need another alternate broadcast. And naturally, it's Pat McAfee. So Pat in the afternoon on his show, Pat before the game on Countdown, potentially Pat during the game. What about the reaction? It hasn't been great. It hasn't been pretty, even from people who like him. I mean it. I'm not making this up. They're basically saying, I like Pat. I watch Pat. I just don't need him at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's even being a phrase of some kind, a saying of some kind, an ailment of some kind being thrown around. It's called McAfee fatigue. And now some NFL analysts are questioning the idea of the alt cast as well. People are legit asking, is this just too much of one person? And now sports media commentary, for what it's worth, is even suggesting that Pat McAfee has surpassed Stephen A. Smith. Yes, that's Stephen A. Smith as the face of the network. You heard me. For years, Stephen A. was everywhere. You already know this. First Take, NBA coverage, Sports Center, special events. I didn't think anyone could be more on my screens than Stephen A. Smith. He's a hardworking person. He really is. But apparently somebody said, hold my beer. If opportunities on a platter keep coming from McAfee, you actually think he's going to say, you know what? Hold up. No, thanks. I think America has seen enough of me. No, and I don't blame him. Of course, he's not going to say that. This is about the network and viewers actually demanding more. Or has ESPN simply decided viewers should want more of Pat McAfee? Because there's a difference. And then there's something that happened this week that almost perfectly symbolizes this entire thing. The universe is crazy. I mean, the timing of this is nuts, and it's sad because the founder of ESPN, Bill Rasmussen, he passed away this week. One of the men responsible for the fact, the man that was responsible for the fact that ESPN even exists. A tribute aired on First Take for Bill Rasmussen. And while it was wrapping up, the network cut away. Why? It was noon Eastern, time for the Pat McAfee Show. Come on, you couldn't script it any better. You couldn't script it any worse. Pat would later address it on his show, saying he had nothing to do with it. And that's true. Pat had nothing to do with it. The network did. And that is exactly the point. This isn't about blaming Pat McAfee. It's about asking why an environment has been created where something like this actually happens. And Pat McAfee still ends up at the center of it anyway. A founder is honored, a tribute is cut short, Pat gets blamed, he responds, and suddenly we're talking about Pat again. Welcome to overexposure. When you're everywhere, somehow, some way, everything becomes about you. ESPN has done this for decades. They have their favorites, let me tell you, and they make sure you know it over and over and over again. The viewers can speak up, say they don't like it, but ESPN most of the time turns a deaf ear. They do it more than you know, trust me. I was there. And overexposure is real. Hey, I love pizza. I do. But I don't want it 7 nights a week. No, I don't, even though I think about it, but I don't. Sometimes the easiest way to make people want less of something is to give them too much of it. So again, credit to McAfee. He built his empire. We got that. He built the audience. He built his brand. He got that. He built the leverage that he has on ESPN. This is all on ESPN. They've chosen to pay him a reported $60 million a year. Question, though, to you guys, and feel free to let me know in the chat box how you feel about this whole thing of Pat McAfee ad nauseum. Is ESPN building its brand around Pat McAfee, or is ESPN slowly becoming Pat McAfee's brand? Because when the man who helped create the network is being honored, his tribute gets cut short for the Pat McAfee Show, and Pat McAfee still ends up in the middle of the fallout. Maybe the bigger question is why isn't everybody still talking about him, right? So that's the thing. Even when he's kind of pulled away from the whole situation and it's not his fault, we are still talking about Pat McAfee. So the bigger question isn't why everybody keeps talking about him. Maybe the question is why we're not being given any other choice by the worldwide leader. That's what I don't get. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I want to hear what you think. Okay. Want to hear something crazy? I'm still trying to wrap my head around it too. Stay with me here. Let me give you some background. We are about to reach NFL final cutdown day. That's right. Every team goes from 90 players all the way down to 53. They have to do that by August 30th. That's coming up. So do the math, and I'm not great at math, but you do the math. 37 cuts per team, 32 teams. That means as many as 1,184 players could be released. And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, some of those players may respond to being cut by the NFL by doing something we never thought we would hear. I never thought I would ever hear this, that they would go back to college. That's right. Players that were cut by NFL teams, perhaps, and just maybe, would have a choice not to go to the practice squad, but go back to college. Apparently, college football has become the new fallback plan for professional football. You don't make the Buccaneers? No problem. LSU may still have your old locker available, and now it comes with a paycheck. Yippee! Because judges, get this, in different states are challenging how the NCAA applies its new eligibility rules. One Louisiana judge has already issued a temporary order that could allow a specific group of athletes, including several players currently under NFL contracts, to return for yet another college season. Now, let's be clear. All 1,184 players cannot simply storm the transfer portal on August 31st, yelling, "Who needs a linebacker? I'm available." The rulings are limited, temporary, and being challenged. One federal judge has already said her ruling does not allow players who sign pro contracts to return to college. But the fact that we're having this conversation is crazy. It tells you that the world is cuckoo. It's completely upside down. At least that's how football has become. For decades, college football was the place let's face it, was the place where you prepared to be an NFL player. Now, the NFL may be where you go to audition for a better paying college job. You heard me. It's not crazy. Imagine getting called into the coach's office on cutdown day, August 30th, and your coach telling you, "Sorry, son, you didn't make the team." And the player saying, "Oh, that's okay, coach. No worries. I'm good. I'm transferring to Alabama." You know why? They have better facilities anyway, and their offer may be guaranteed. We used to call players who didn't make NFL teams free agents. Now we may have to call them graduate transfers. Yeah. And what happens to the actual college players whose roster spots disappear? Because a 24-year-old, yes, a 24-year-old just came back from an NFL training camp. Is that fair? Welcome to college, freshman. Here's your meal plan, your class schedule, and the pro linebacker competing for your scholarship. This is no longer amateur athletics. Let's please stop pretending. This is no longer amateur athletics. College football has become professional football with homework, marching bands, and judges setting the depth chart. The NFL has a practice squad. College football apparently has a very well-funded rescue squad, and I mean well-funded. In today's world of college football, a player can make more than they do on an NFL practice squad team. And if these rulings stand, hey, you never know. Final cutdown day won't mean your football career is over. It may simply mean it's time to go back to school and get a raise. Back to school and get a raise. Great for the player, not so much for college football. This cannot be allowed to happen. You make a decision to jump to the NFL. That's it, folks. No turning back. Sorry, you're not taking a roster spot away from a college kid. Wake up, people. Stay tuned on that story. Well, here's a story I could not ignore. I kind of like it. Chicago Bears franchise quarterback Caleb Williams. He has finally explained why he paints his nails. What started because of his mom, a nail technician, became a habit that transformed into a strategy. Here's Caleb Williams on the Max Crosby podcast. Roll it, Dominic.
My mom does nails, so that's where it stemmed from. Stemmed from there, and then one day I was with one of my exes, and we were going to the nail salon, and she was like, "Why don't you get this?" I was like, "Fuck it."
Why not?
Fuck it. I know who I am. I know what I like. I know.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I did it, and then ended up becoming 3 nails, 4 nails, 5, 6, and I ended up just doing it. And at a certain point, I was actually doing it. I was doing it, because you can't write stuff on your tape, and you can't do all that stuff. So I was doing like F Texas.
Yeah.
With the horns down symbol. Like I was doing shit like that.
For sure.
Trolling. Yeah.
I was like trolling, and that's one of my. I enjoy trolling. I do. I have to be careful with it now because whatever. But I do it sometimes, and I try and do it smart.
Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears quarterback, on why he gets his nails done. Started with his mom, the nail technician, and an ex-girlfriend. It's brilliant. Use your nails as tiny billboards. What's wrong with that? Why trash talk when your manicure can do it for you? Think about it. But seriously, I love it. You know why? Because Caleb Williams has also used his nails to promote breast cancer awareness, to promote mental health awareness, and the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So good for him. Good for Caleb Williams. Hey, it's no different, is it, than, pink cleats or a custom headband? It's just part of his brand and what makes Caleb Williams unique and special. If Caleb Williams throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns with a fresh coat of gel, let him cook. That's what I say. Or cure. Or whatever the salon term is for, please don't throw a pick six while your cuticles are flawless. At the end of the day, Bears fans, they don't care if it's red zone efficiency or red nail polish on those fingers of Caleb Williams, as long as both show up on Sundays. Good for you, Caleb Williams. All right, Fernando Mendoza, one of my favorites for obvious reasons. Got people talking this week. That's right. You know how? Just by being Fernando Mendoza. Roll it, Dominic.
Yeah, I would say that it is tough. However, everything that is tough, you wouldn't want something to be easy. If it's tough, it's worth it, and that's why it works at the highest level. And it's great because the teammates, we rely on each other. We rely on the receivers to make the right timing, right route. The receivers rely on the quarterback to throw in the correct timing. The linemen rely on the quarterback to get it out on time. The quarterback rely on the lineman to give them that time to throw it. And then the tight end, there's so many different variables of it. And when we all rely on each other, I believe it makes us closer. And when we become one oiled unit and we have all this synergy and become a dynamic ecosystem where we're evolving together, playing on time, be able to make, and then still make some off-schedule plays, but mostly playing on time, then that's what teams in this system take the next.
Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Fernando Mendoza, the first overall pick. Just love him. Getting a lot of time with the first team reps. No better time to welcome to the show my son, Dan, or better known to some as Ferdando. Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, Mom. Happy to be here. I'm in a new location this time. So
all right.
That's going to be the cool thing. You never know where I'm going to end up.
Yeah, it looks good. First and foremost, how are those first team reps going with the Raiders?
I'm learning a lot from Kirk. He's a great dude. Feel like we gel. We have the same kind of personality, but I won't be getting in a fight with Max Crosby anytime soon.
Yeah, smart move. Max has, explained that, and so has Kirk. Just don't hit Kirk Cousins' elbow, even if you're Fernando Mendoza. Okay, Dan, let's go. It was a big success last week. People want to hear your fantasy tip of the week. What is it?
Right. Everyone knows who to pick. Everyone knows those big names to go for. But again, I'm all about sleepers. Best running back in the league, we know, is Jahmyr Gibbs. But his best friend, soon-to-be best friend, Isaiah Pacheco, backing him up, that's someone I would target late. I know there's an injury concern early to week 1, but it is the best situation for him. There's no one who runs harder than him. And remember, David Montgomery got a big share of the carries last year. Pacheco, I think, is going to be in a similar role. He was a huge asset for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's going to be a big part of this offense in Detroit.
Pretty exciting. Yeah, after last year, of course, we all know the Lions and their fans are just hoping the team finally bounces back from last year's disaster with all the injuries. So that's always the key with the Lions for sure. All right, Dan, my son Dan, bringing it. How about betting tip of the week? What is it?
I'm a huge future guy, as we know.
Yes.
Some people might be concerned with one of these teams. I'm going to go with a parlay, 3-legger. I'm going to do the Buffalo Bills for under 10.5 wins. Their schedule is tough. They have a new head coach. I know he was the offensive coordinator last year, but I'm not a believer in Joe Brady. I'm really not. I don't like the way he uses Josh. Josh is one of the most electric quarterbacks in the game. There is no scary or deep threat I can say in NFL history, even as a Patriots fan. But too many screen passes to Shakir. I don't think he knows how to use him. DJ Moore is 30. I can only imagine how he's feeling as he's getting up there. And I have that parlayed with the Dolphins over 4.5 wins. Love Malik Willis. I think that's a huge upgrade over a scared Tua. And anyone who watched tape on Malik over the past 2 years, I don't think there was any quarterback that has improved more in the game right now. I think Dolphin fans should be very excited on what they should see. And Arizona Cardinals, I know everyone has this team going 0-18. They think nothing's going to happen. But listen, Jacoby Brissett, he's my guy, former Patriot.
Right.
The offense looks good, okay? And if he's learned anything from Tom Brady, he knows how to lead. I think he's going to shock a lot of people, and that's going to be around plus 650. Throw $10 on it, you're going to wake up with $65 in your account, later. And 0-17, my bad.
Yeah.
18 weeks. 17.
Yeah. You got to remember the extra game. Interesting. I got to follow up. Under 10.5 wins for the Bills. If that is the case, and if your prediction holds true, do they still win the AFC East?
I don't think so. They didn't win it last year. There's a new man in town. His name is Drake May. He's a younger Josh Allen. And
went to the Super Bowl.
He doesn't complain about the refs, Exactly. Went to the Super Bowl, something Josh is still waiting to do.
Right.
It's a team game. I don't see Josh Allen actually ever making it to the Super Bowl unless he goes to the Rams after Stafford's gone. So I don't see it. They're not the lead horse anymore. They're actually more of a dark horse now. People think the Patriots are going to fall off. Mike Vrabel is one of the best in the game. Patriots environment is good, despite what people think. I am biased, but history repeats itself. So
we will see. I think they'll take a step back. Actually, the Patriots. I wouldn't do that parlay if it's me, Dan, with all due respect. I still feel like the Bills always find a way in the regular season to get into the postseason. But you never know this year. And also, Josh is a year older, and he's got to stay healthy. And we'll see, to your point, how Joe Brady plays him, and if that's a benefit or a disadvantage. All right, let's move on, because I talked about a few things in the show. Of all the topics that I talked about, McAfee, everywhere you look, college kids, perhaps a chance, NFL players, perhaps a chance to go back to college if they're cut and they, instead of going to a practice squad, or Caleb Williams' nails. Which topic would you like to share your take on?
I feel the most important one right now, which hard to believe it's not Caleb Williams' nails. It's over and done with. He can do whatever makes him happy. Yeah. He's making more money than both of us, so congrats. I think the big story, and it's these college players who seem to be able to never leave college.
Yeah.
Being able to play in NFL preseason games and being able to just go back. It's a little too much. Don't get me wrong. If I was super athletic, I'd be on their side, but it's too much freedom. I think the transfer portal is already insane in college. I understand it's a business now, but you have to put your foot down somewhere. And unfortunately, if you ever want to get something to get past, you just go to a no-name level court in Louisiana or somewhere in the South or anywhere, I don't want to stereotype the South. I love the South. I've enjoyed my time there. But, there's always going to be someone who's going to agree with you. And unfortunately, we've seen what happens in college, and someone just needs to put their foot down. I would not want to be part of the NCAA right now.
Yeah, it's going to ruin college football if that's the case. And as I mentioned earlier, Dan, it's not fair to college players that work so hard to earn a scholarship and try to get a roster spot and fulfill their dream. A lot of these guys will never make it to the NFL, right? That make it to these great college teams. Most of them don't make it to the NFL. And to think that they would never have a chance to play for their dream college team because of some 25-year-old coming back to the place where, he already has been there 3 years too long and coming back for another year. It's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't help anyone. It hurts the players, especially. And I know coaches want to win, but that's going to be a bit ridiculous. So I'm with you on that. Let's hope. I told everybody it's a story we're going to stay on top of and can't ignore. All right, Dan. Thanks for stopping by, and I do love the new location. So let's make that a staple.
I know. We'll see what happens. No promises.
Good luck tonight. You're playing first team reps. Good job.
I know it's tricky. It's tricky,
Okay.
but I have confidence in my squad, so we're gonna go out and attack.
I heard that somewhere for sure. All right, Dan. Awesome to talk to you. Take care.
Oh, you too, Mom.
Okay. Dan the man. Anyway, 4th and Dan. All right. Before we get to our Ask Linda segment, as we finish strong here, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. Dominic, he'll take care of it. He'll send them my way, but they got to be good, because if they're not good, I'm not going to talk about it. Babs back there is coughing. You might hear that. That's who's coughing like an old woman back there. I'm laughing at my own dog. What do I do that? I love her so much. But anyway, there's this story. Yeah. Well, guess what? I can't believe I'm talking about her on my show. Kim Kardashian. That's right. I'm talking about Kim Kardashian. She's the have you heard this? She's the executive producer of a new reality series. That's right. The reality series, it's called Team Moms Baseball. My first reaction, nobody asked for this, Kim. Not a single human asked for this, Kim. The show, let me describe the show, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you want this. Maybe you like this. Maybe you'll be tuned in. The show follows the families of teenage boys at an elite baseball academy located in Scottsdale, Arizona. Kids chasing college scholarships, NIL deals, dreams of making the big leagues, the major leagues. But apparently the real action on this show isn't on the field. No, that wouldn't sell, would it? No, not a Kim Kardashian executive produced show. No, it's in the stands with the crazy parents. Because youth sport parents weren't intense enough already. Hey, we've all experienced that. I've been around that with my kids growing up. You've probably been around that with your kids growing up, or your kids right now. Youth parents watching their kids play sports, they're nuts. So now we're giving them TV cameras, confessionals, and potentially their own glam squads. That's right. Nothing, think about it. Nothing helps a 16-year-old handle the pressure of trying to get a college scholarship, quite like mom screaming at the officials when there are TV crews surrounding her, when Kim Kardashian is calling the shots and she wants to make sure she makes a scene. Yeah, those poor kids. That's all I have to say. Will I watch it? Absolutely not. You got to be kidding me. Will I somehow know every controversy, though, of this show by episode 3? Perhaps. I don't know. If I won't be forced to talk about it. I won't. I might. But nobody asked for this, Kim. In fact, I like the name, that title, better than what you call it. Team Moms Baseball. I think I like nobody asked for it, Kim. By the way, Team Moms Baseball, if you are interested, September 24th, it makes its debut on Paramount Plus. Nobody asked for this, Kim. All right, Dominic, what do you got, if anything, for Ask Linda? What do you have?
Yeah. What's up, Linda?
Did you watch that show, Dom?
I might tune in. I like baseball a lot, Linda. So,
yeah, well, that's a problem. Okay, you're out.
That rules me out automatically.
If you like screaming moms, you might tune in.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, I was part of that little league ecosystem. My brother was a real slugger back then. And so I saw a lot of that polarizing, parents definitely coddling their kids and going nuts over it, too. So it is a little interesting to me. Not gonna lie. But we had some interesting questions here.
All right, shoot.
This is a good one. I thought that being from Pittsburgh, there's a Pitt question here with Pitt alumni. Ask Linda. This is from Walter, I think his name is. Walt Nice. Thank you, Walt Nice. Do you think Aaron Donald is coming back? Rams all day from the Rambassador. Yeah, what do you think? He's been working at their camp, trying some stuff out. What do you think he's going to come back, Linda?
Yeah, it's kind of nuts, right? I mean, I don't blame him. He's not like living at camp. He's only been there a few times, getting reacquainted with Sean McVay, the coach, and everybody around him. Let's just say this. Why not? If he's in great shape and everything we've seen on Instagram, he's in amazing shape. But he can bide his time, he'll come back probably right before the first game. I think he probably won't go to Australia. I think they play the Niners in Australia, if memory serves me, week 1. Rams Niners, believe it or not, in Melbourne, Australia. I don't think he's making the trip with the boys there. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does come back. Why not? Another chance to win another ring. Many are already picking the Rams to win the Super Bowl. I'm not there yet to make my prediction of who wins the Super Bowl, but they're right there in the top 5 of why not them when you have Matthew Stafford and you have that loaded offense. And of course, with Aaron Donald, you're adding to an already superb defense. So if I had to bet, which I don't, but if I did, I would say he's coming back on his timetable.
I would agree with you on that one for sure. So yeah, I think he's coming back. Rams are just a top team in the league, so makes kind of sense for him. All right. This is from Triple E. He asked you, Linda, who do you think is winning the Super Bowl first, the Cleveland Browns or the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, that I can answer. I don't even have to hesitate. Believe it or not, I think the Dallas Cowboys would win a Super Bowl before the Cleveland Browns. And it might happen this year. If everything matches up well, if this team stays healthy, I've told you this before on the show. I love the defense. I love the addition of Von Miller. I love the addition when they got Rashawn Gary. I think Jerry Jones is not done. I think he's still going to bolster that defense. They already have a loaded offense. It was like 7th in the league last year. And, you know, I'm a believer in Dak Prescott if he has weapons, and he's got weapons. So I'm not worried about the offense as long as everyone stays healthy. And so definitely the Cowboys have a better chance in our lifetimes to win a Super Bowl than the Cleveland Browns. End of story.
I can't envision the Browns being in the Super Bowl. I just can't.
No.
All
right.
Never know, though. All right. This is tying into what you and Dan were talking about and what you brought up earlier in the show with the NFL players potentially going back to college. JC Brown, thank you for this question. He says, Linda, if there are cut football players joining college teams, could this be an impetus for getting Congress to pass legislation that regulates college sports? What do you think of that?
First of all, I'm impressed with the use of the word impetus. So congrats to you on that. Secondly, I don't know. I hate when the government gets involved in sports. It always does not end well. And it's just a publicity stunt. But I know with college sports, things are a little different. They always seem to get their, poke their nose into things and give it a nudge. I don't know. I don't have my crystal ball. All I know is I hope we don't reach a point where we're going to need the government and Congress to get involved.
Yeah, you never want the government involved with your organized sports. So, yeah, hopefully something gets rectified because it is the Wild West out there right now, kind of for college sports. So,
all right, Dom. Cool. Excellent. All right, that's your Ask Linda segment. So listen, just want to say thanks to you guys. It means so much to me. We're up to over 21,000 subscribers. Share, like, and subscribe. Spread the word. And I'm really excited. NFL season is coming up. So it's going to be great. We're going to do some more live shows. I haven't figured out the exact schedule, but it's going to happen. Right now we're Monday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're definitely going to expand, and perhaps we'll come on after some big events as well. I can't get enough of this. I'm addicted to the show. I love talking to you guys, and you guys have been great. The reaction has been great. Please continue to comment. I will continue to attempt to respond to each and every one of you. I appreciate that. So spread the word. We'll be back Monday live with an incredible guest, Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness podcast. Could have been in the NFL. An injury happened. He has an amazing inspirational story, and he's turned into something really special. He'll be my guest, but it's only Thursday. So much will happen between now and Monday. That's why I got to do more live shows, which I plan to do. And you guys will be the first to know. So thanks again for tuning into this episode. And I'll talk to you on Monday. Bye. Have a good night.